Alright guys, welcome back to episode 3. Today we got Who the EX Plus November edition. Who we're going to use ingots on, that's the objective for today. You should be looking at who should you realize, how much should you realize, and when you realize that EX Plus weapons are now realized. Alright, here's some other chaos guides from the era. We got Lids87, we got Josepher, and we got Broadway Saiyan. They made some pretty good guides so far about the Chaos era and what these new materials do and how you can get them. In the middle here we have EX Guide infographic by the Tonberry Troop. This is by Inkwelder and the Tonberry Troop. So you guys can have a look at these if you're not sure what these materials do and how to get them. I'll post all these in the description below, all the links to the videos and the infographic, so you guys can have a look and see what's going on with these new materials. As for my video, we're going to be looking at each EX Plus weapon and seeing who to use ingots on and how much ingots should you be using. So these are the pairings for upcoming November. All the EX Plus weapons come with 2 at a time. And we'll be starting off with Cloud and Vincent. So starting off with Cloud's EX weapon, if you have a look at his upgrades here, going at his 3 out of 3, he gets 2 attacks. So that's really where we have to upgrade Cloud. If you look from the bottom and then you work your way backwards, that's probably the easiest way to decide if you want to upgrade the character or not. So for Cloud, it's definitely going to be going up to 3 out of 3 to get the double HP attack. Now over to Vincent, a little bit harder to decide. The last one, he gets a little bit more max brave overflow, but that's not much to worry about. You don't even get any brave potency increases. So if you look at number 2, he gets brave hits become AoE, he gets a better HP plus attack, and he gets more brave hits on the nightmare shot. So I would say at least 2 out of 3 for Vincent. Okay, moving on to Fang. So Fang, you can see, doesn't really get much from the later levels, just some brave potency increases, some brave overflow. For 2 out of 3, it's literally just brave damage dealt increase, which is not worth it, and I don't think her 3 out of 3 is a big upgrade. Now obviously if you're going to use a certain character and you fully upgrade them, they're going to be the best once they're fully limit broken, but ingots are so rare that you really have to space out your resources. So for me, Fang's going to be the 1 out of 3 here, just for the stat increases from attack, because she is a DPS character, so you do want some stat increases at least. Now on to Tidus. Now his last upgrade is going to be increasing only max brave overflow limit, so I wouldn't even get that. So for Tidus, it's really going to be a 2 out of 3 upgrade, just because he needs that unique buff. His EX now gives him a unique buff that refreshes. He won't lose it every time. I'm not going to go over spheres really in the video, because to me spheres are just a bonus. If you upgrade an EX Plus weapon, you'll get a sphere, but it has to be max limit broken, which means you wouldn't just MLB a weapon just for a sphere. Now on to Garland. Garland for me is a 3 out of 3, he's a DPS character. If you look at the upgrade, he gets more damage dealt after every instance of attack, so definitely Garland needs to be max limit broken. And then Warrior of Light. Now you would think Warrior of Light needs max limit broken as well, because he's such a strong character for such a long time. But because he's actually support and he doesn't dish out the damage, if you look at his upgrades, really you want to go into this 0 out of 3 or 1 out of 3 limit break. 1 out of 3 is pretty good because he gets some brave potency increases, he gets more brave hits. But 2 out of 3 and upwards, you get more attack power, you get more overflow. It's nice, but it's not necessary. Because of his role as a support, he can just battery and bypass enemy defenses anyway, and it's not a big deal. Okay, on to Cryo. Now if you look at Cryo's list, it's pretty large on the last upgrade, and it's pretty necessary for her, I would say. If you're going to use Cryo, definitely fully upgrade her. She needs those potency hits, she needs those overflow hits, those increase of hit count as well, and it also changes her brave and HP plus attacks. Okay, next we got Zell. So looking at Zell, the last upgrade gets splash damage, which is very good, and I would say necessary for him to be functioning as a DPS character. Even if Zell himself is not that good of a kit, if you're gonna use Zell, take the time to limit break his weapon, because he really needs to do more damage, and that's the way to get him to do it. Okay, next up we got Deuce. So Deuce is a support character. Her upgrades aren't that, overwhelming, as you can see. The last one, you get some slight overflow with the battery, meaning her Brave Battery for the party can overflow. It's okay. She can also get some unique buff for 3 turns at the start of quest, but for me, Deuce is going to be a 0, 1 out of 3. Just because she's support, you can function without these upgrades. Okay, onto Ace. Pretty strong damage dealer for magic. So looking at Ace, he gets some overflow, he gets more brave hits for the last upgrade, which is nice. But for me, I would say 2 out of 3 minimum for Ace, because he needs those card stacks and he gets those attack boosts. But if you're using him as your main DPS, you want him at 3 out of 3. The reason I put him at 2, potentially, is because other DPS characters exist and he may not last as long as them. So that's why you have to take that into consideration before using your resources. Okay, next up we get Ultimisia. So right away you can see that she gets a free ability use on the next turn with her max limit broken weapon. That's definitely going to be the one we have to use. She's going to be very powerful regardless. You guys probably heard all about Ultimisia already. But she definitely needs to be fully limit broken. And then we got Squall. If you look at Squall, he gets 2 brave hits, 2 brave HP attacks, so that's pretty good. He definitely needs that to do the damage for his role. If you're going to be using Squall, yeah, you want to fully limit break him just so you can dish out more damage. And then you'll be getting the spheres as a bonus, but like I said before, it shouldn't be a priority. The spheres should just be a bonus for you guys. Now this is just a table of all the recommendations that I said early in the video, so you guys can see it visually. So this is a table of priority. So number 1 at the top here, we got Ultimisia and Warrior of Light. Even though Warrior of Light doesn't get many Ingot recommendations, he's still going to be top of the list just because of how powerful he is and how versatile he is. And Ultimisia needs full upgrades, but she's going to be one of the most powerful characters for a long time. And then below her we have Garland and Cloud. So they're also DPS characters that need to be fully limit broken. Below them we got Ace EX. So the reason I put Ace kind of low on the list is because Ultimisia exists. He may not last as long as people would expect, and to me he ranks lower on the list of priorities. And that's about it in terms of what I wanted to highlight. Everything else, the characters are kind of lower in priority, but if you do want to use them, you can use them, that's up to you. So I'm just going to leave you guys with some sentiments. So this whole video was just my opinion. I'm just a player like you guys, I do some research, but I'm no expert on the game. You should play it how you want, remember it's just your game. If you want to mix gems and tickets, you can do it. You want to realize Deuce to 3 out of 3, you can do it. If you want to be a filthy casual, you can gem revive or chaos clears, do it. And then if you want to skip Dark Beatrix, do it. So just have fun with the game guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.